What's up, you guys? It's Anthony from 42 Flat. Today I got Deron Winn, former UFC and Bellator middleweight and lifelong wrestling fanatic. First question, I'm just kind of wondering, are you going to be competing anytime soon? We're going to see you?
Soon, it depends on what you say soon is. I'm not saying it's like completely off the table, bro, but I think whenever this my situation happened, I had to make a decision on fixing some certain things in my life before I went to, per se chase a dream again.
Right.
It's like for the last decade of my life, I've been chasing a dream, or even longer, right? Like I was trying to make an Olympic team, trying to be UFC champion. And sometimes that doesn't always pay the dividends that we'd like it to.
Right.
More so glory, on the glory side of things. But now I'm finally at the point where I think that I could, get back in the gym and do it for the right reasons. Me and DC have talked recently about, maybe what's next, and it'll happen. But right now, I don't know exactly when, but it could be before the end of the year.
That's awesome. I think just as a fan, when I saw the video and when you and the UFC parted ways, I was really sad. I watched the last couple of your fights and it was awesome. And I saw the points and you had some freak accident happen. And the fight game is brutal. And I think a lot of people don't really talk about the struggles that fighters go through and the type of mentality that it actually takes to show up even just for a fight. Mm-hmm. And so, be awesome to just hear you talk a little bit about what it kind of takes to just get through a fight camp, to get all the way to a fight, to perform, and then look back at the fight and say, wow, I could have done this, that, and the other, because it seems like such an intense process.
Yeah. Honestly, I guess one of the first things I can say is the life of a combat sports athlete is working as hard as you possibly can, and it still might not be good enough.
Right.
So it's like that's what separates, us from, the normal person who won't chase a dream. It's knowing that the end result might not be what we want it to be, but I could work harder than 99.999% of the world in that time frame and it still feel like I failed. So that's kind of the life, that I've obviously lived my entire life with wrestling. So you get used to it, you understand. Right. And I would say what it takes is consistency and kind of being true to yourself in your training and really learning from your mistakes.
Right.
It's like if I lose, or if I win and I get tired, if I, and I win and I get, punched a lot, or if I lose and I get whatever, right? You have to go try to fix those mistakes and then just hope that the next time around it's good enough. And that's why the life is so like mentally
challenging.
Yeah, mentally crazy.
Yeah.
Because I think that I've done that my entire life now, and that's why now I've it's like for me it's like I've wrestled my entire life. I wrestled in college. I wrestled at the highest level. I traveled the world. I was on the U.S. national team. I tried to make 2 Olympic teams. I fought in Golden Boy, which is the only Golden Boy card. I fought in Bellator.
Right.
I fought in the UFC, and it's like I've done about everything you can do in each sport, and it was like I was almost left empty-handed.
Right.
So that's why I said, like, these last 6-7 months, I've been trying to do some things to figure out, how I can be more stable and, the foundation of my life to be able to go try to chase that again for a couple more years.
Right. I mean, how has it felt to have a break? To be honest?
It's been amazing. But what I tell people, it's like, it's been easy. In the sport, the life I've lived, I know when it's easy, it's not right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like something's off.
Something's off.
Right.
So it's like, this is too easy.
Right.
Even it's like, we don't have to get into it, but it's like I have this little sales job.
Right.
And it's like, I go and I do these sales and I go walk in and I'm like, all right, I hand them the product, they sign it, I'm like, all right, man, like, see it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
It's just easy.
Because you're used to it being such an intense buildup for a fight.
Yes.
Mental buildup, physical buildup, weight
Yes.
cut, and whatever the results of the fight may be.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's been good, man. It's been awesome. It's like, you know, I like to say that my body's healed a little bit, but I just know that it only feels like it's healed because I haven't been training hard.
Right.
You know, so the moment I start training hard, I'll start feeling all those injuries that I've created in my entire life. But honestly, mentally, it's been nice to have a break.
That's awesome. How do you translate some of that to some of the students? Because I know you guys are teaching a lot here, and I know a lot of the young kids are wanting to get into MMA now because you know it's so popular and wrestling has done so well in MMA. So kind of like how do you manage that with, you know, teaching the kids of what it's actually like versus the dream?
I try to be transparent with them. Especially me, it's easy. Like it's actually really good that the kids have like a guy like me around, as opposed to like DC. Like DC, they see the rarity, the anomaly of it all, and I'm like, oh, it more times happens like this.
Right.
So understand that like I'm still the badass, and I'm still top tier, and I have been my entire life. But it's like to be where he's at, you have to be almost from a different planet.
Right.
So I try to be transparent, and then that's what it takes, and that's and understanding that it could be that you could be 34,
right,
not knowing what you're gonna do next because you've only been chasing a dream your entire life.
Right. It feels like a lot of suffering that the media doesn't really portray. We don't really see like, people missing fights or missing weight or training for 4 or 5 months and then somebody backs out of a fight. And it's just a massive amount of struggle for not a lot of money a lot of the times. And so...
And then, you know, the difference between winning and losing, it's like, I tell people, it's like for the last decade of my life, the financial comfort of my life has been based off wins and losses.
Right.
But I've worked harder than 99% of the world. So it's like, that's part of that struggle.
Right.
So, you know, for us with these guys, the kids that we teach, the girls and guys, we encourage them to go to college and get we help them get these scholarships to provide them with a life that maybe they wouldn't have without it.
Right.
Although we are in the day and age that having a college degree doesn't always mean, you know, success. Right. But it definitely means stability. So that if this doesn't work out, then I can for sure go get a job and support a family if I want it in the future. So we always encourage that. We have kids that want to fight, but we're like, hey, go to school, wrestle,
try it out.
And if you want to wrestle, if you want to try and make an Olympic team, do it. But to understand that how few people do that as well.
Right.
You know, a lot of times, a lot of this stuff is like you just have to get to it to understand it.
Right. Right.
And then it's like, then after that, if you want to come back and fight, let us know.
So, I mean, given that, like you were telling me off camera, you're kind of getting into maybe doing some keynote speeches and trying to inspire people in a different way than to just fighting, and kind of using all your experience through fighting and what martial arts really teaches you long term to lift people up. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I guess, are you saying like talk about why I want to do that?
Yeah, but both. Okay. Why do you want to do that and the opportunities that are presenting?
Yeah, I mean, I want to do it because I just want people to understand that it's not like this profound like situation that happens to your life to get you to the point.
Right.
It's just like you work, and it either happens or it doesn't.
Right.
And then what you do with it next, it all depends on you, right? And it's like I want to help people understand that. So kind of getting, we were talking about like the mental health stuff.
Right.
So what I'm going to do at the end of the month is kind of understanding, helping people, like give them my life experiences and having them understand that I struggled,
right,
and I got help, but I also got tough through this. But then I got more help, and then I got it's like, it's going to be really hard.
Right.
But it's okay if you find some people that you can call to and speak to and talk through things, or if you need to go get some, help, therapist, something like that. But also, a lot of it is just biting down and putting your head down and working, bro.
Right.
So, I want to make them understand that we all go through these things. It's like kind of stuff we were talking about. It's like we all have issues. We all have family issues. We don't all, but it's like a lot of us do. But a lot of these strong people have that in their life, and it's what makes them stronger. It's kind of like there's that quote going around, or a video of Joe Rogan going around. He's saying that, you know, for the majority of the people he knows, the most exceptional people and most mentally tough people he knows have went through a very traumatic situation in their life.
And I think that's why a lot of people draw a lot of inspiration from fighters, because what you guys have to go through, like we said, just to be able to show up on the night, but like to have a whole career and to have a successful career, my God, it feels like just such a rarity that I think a lot of people that are fans just really just don't understand the amount of suffering that it takes.
And they don't care.
Yeah.
And if there's any advice I can give to up and coming fighters or athletes, is like, you know, it's crazy. I've just got to the point of this, but it's like, one, not caring what these fans say or think about you, even if they're like, you're the man.
Right.
Don't hold on to any of that, because they don't care, bro.
Right.
Like, when you're down and out, you're going through these things, they don't care enough to figure out why you're wrong or you know, understand. It's like, or why, what's wrong with you, you know, why you're down. It's like they don't reach out, they don't care to look into why, what happened, or they know what's in your personality. They just judge you from the kind of broad picture of things.
Right.
And it's like, if you're winning, like, you're the man. If you're losing, you suck.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's why we're here. I'm trying to shine light on the kind of backstory of what actually is really going on for not just fighters, but athletes and people in science and people in health. And because there's a huge backstory around, you know, what we don't see. And so I feel really fortunate to have you on and to talk about these things. And I hope everybody goes and follows Deron and follows his journey. And I definitely want to see you fight again.
Yeah,
for what it's worth.
I do. I want to compete. I think where I'm at with it is I could be done. I've been a combat athlete for 30 years now. I started when I was 4.
That's crazy.
And which you would never be able to wrap your mind around that unless you've been involved in something like that. And it's like I've had, you know, 3 decades of success, and I could be like, I'm done, but deep down in my heart, I know that if I stop now, that when my window is closed in like 4 or 5 years, I'll be kicking myself and be like, damn it, bro. Why didn't you just get tough for a couple more years? And that's what circles back to like what we're talking about. Is like, this would be the easy way. Like, yeah, man, but you know, I could tell people, man, I did it for a long time. It was good. You know, I worked really hard. Or I could just get tough and see if I can really dedicate myself to get, you know, a few more fights in.
Yeah, and I mean, either way, we're interested in watching, you know, to see what you do, and I think that it would be cool to see you on either end of it.
No, I know.
On the inspirational end or on the fighter end.
But I mean, I could do both. At this point, I could do both.
Yeah.
Like that's where I want. It's like I want to be able to balance both if I need to. Right. You know, I want to be able to, if I can go train them, or if like somebody needs me to come in and speak, or even, you know, help a kid that's having troubles or something like that. It's like, I can do both of those. I'm strong enough to do that. And so I've kind of realized in these past few months, you know, I've done a lot of, I was telling you, like research and listen to podcasts and
self-reflection,
and you know, self-building type stuff, and understanding that there's only few people in this world that are strong enough to do something like that. And I believe I am. I just have to get there. You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, no problem,
we're going to get you on again. And
for sure.
Everybody go follow Deron. And I just hope to see more of you.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'll definitely support you. I'll repost everything. So
sweet. Sick.
Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, brother.